I've just created a Swarf Toolpath and an Undercut Constant Z Toolpath, but the results of both are not very desirable. Let's take a look at this Swarf Toolpath. I've selected these edges around here, and on this side it's very nice, but over the other side it's not machining into the corner, and I've got a series of retracts here. So that's not good. Now let's take a look at the Undercut Constant Z Toolpath. I was hoping to machine with the tip disc tool in 3-axis all of this region over here, but it's given me some very strange results. I've got a segment up here and then a series of segments down at the bottom. Okay, so I have a big problem with both of those toolpaths. What is the reason for this? The reason is, if I switch on the drawing options, shade inside, you can see that I have a number of surfaces inside out. And if we take a look at the constant Z area, I've got a number of surfaces not correctly orientated. And also in the Swarf Toolpath, where I have this small gap, I've got this surface over here not well orientated. And this is the problem for these toolpaths. Many toolpaths in PowerMILL don't care at all really about the orientation of the surfaces, but some of them do. And if we take a look on the list, when do you need to orientate surface normals? Well, if you're using constant Z finishing with undercut switched on, you do need to orientate them. If undercut is switched off, then you don't, it will be fine. Swarf finishing toolpaths require the orientation to be correct, as do surface finishing, projection surface finishing, flowline finishing, embedded pattern finishing, and profile finishing. So if you're using any of these strategies, then be sure to orientate the surface normals of your part. Also, you can have a problem when creating boundaries or patterns if you're using the insert model function. Let's just take a look at this. If I wanted a boundary or a pattern of this fillet and I selected them, you can see I have some of the surfaces badly orientated. So if I create a boundary user defined, and then if I use the insert model command, accept, if I take a look at that boundary, it's not good. It's in different pieces. I've got these areas in here, these internal curves, whereas I just want a single boundary, so that boundary is not good either. So let's switch the part back on. I'm going to select the whole model. You can select it like this, or you can right click on the model just to be absolutely sure and say select all. Then right click on the model and use Orientate selected surfaces. With this command you have a 50% chance of getting them right or wrong, and they're all wrong. But because they're all wrong, it's quite simple to fix. Right click and reverse selected. So we want the outside colour to be within the view. Now if we take a look at this Swarf Toolpath, let's go back to the settings. I'll just make a copy of this toolpath by cloning it. And I'll right click on that and select the surfaces just to ensure that they're selected, and recalculate it now that I've corrected the surface normals. And you can see that it now cuts that corner perfectly. The undercut constant Z will also cut perfectly now. And the boundaries, if we try to recreate this boundary again, let's select those surfaces again. Now I will create a boundary, user defined, same function, insert the model and accept. Now you see I get a very nice tidy single curve. So just to be clear, whenever you're using any of these strategies, or when inserting a model into a boundary or a pattern, be sure to orientate your surface normals. Otherwise, it really doesn't make any difference.